Dodgy War Inventions number 16. The First World War's Zeppelin airship. Zeppelins were basically massive gas balloons with engines, designed by the Germans to drop bombs on British cities. They were brilliant because their enormous size meant they could carry loads of bombs. But there was one small problem. Their enormous size also meant they were almost impossible to miss.
Oh, does anybody have some chewing gum and a bicycle pump?
Dodgy War Inventions number 7. The Roman catapult, called an onager. The onager was a nifty catapult made of wood, which used leather ropes, wound up like a rubber band, to lob rocks and flaming missiles long distances. Brilliant. But there was one small problem. Leather goes all floppy when it's wet, so the ropes didn't work in the rain.
All right, own up. Whose clever idea was it to invade Britain in February? Oh.
Dodgy War Machines number 14. In ancient times, King Pyrrhus of Greece went to battle with the Romans and brought with him a secret weapon, elephants.
Elephants, charge!
Greek war elephants were brilliant because once they started charging, they didn't stop and trampled anything in their way, particularly the enemy troops. It was brilliant, but unfortunately there was one small problem. Elephants are scared of fire and pigs. So the Romans set fire to some pigs and sent them charging at the charging elephants. Making King Pyrrhus really wish he'd left his secret weapon at home. Dodgy War Inventions number 79. When the Romans invaded Britain, they had a bit of a problem in East Anglia. The land they found there was wet and marshy. Very, very wet and very, very marshy. But then one Roman general had a bright idea.
Why don't we use stilts?
His plan worked brilliantly. The stilts stopped the Romans getting wet. But there was one small problem. The Celts worked out that the Romans on stilts were very easy to knock over. The Romans fell like dominoes, and the Celts swiftly finished them off.
Ah, well, guess it's back to the drawing tablet. And quickly.
And don't come back!
Dodgy War Inventions number 28. The Second World War's Russian anti-tank device. The penniless Russians needed a cheap way to destroy the unbeatable German tanks, so they invented dog bombs. Yes, dogs were trained to run underneath tanks with bombs strapped to their backs. The Russians sent their brilliant new doggy weapon into battle. But there was one small problem. The dogs had been trained to run under Russian tanks.
Нет, there, doggy, stay, sit.
So they ran under the Russian tanks.
There, doggy. Oh well, back to drawing board.
Dodgy War Inventions number 21. The 19th century ironclad ship used in the American Civil War. This ship was covered entirely in metal, meaning enemy fire bounced right off it. Plus, it could destroy wooden ships by ramming them. The ironclad ship was indestructible, but there was one small problem. The other side had one too, so the battle went on for hours. And hours.
How about we just call it a draw?
Dodgy War Machines number 81. The German U-boat. Sleek, silent, fast, deadly. It was the perfectly designed fighting machine. Well, I say perfectly designed. It was fitted with a very complicated high-pressure toilet system. During World War II, One U-boat captain went to the toilet and tried to flush it, but pulled the wrong lever.
Captain, what have you done?
Oh, yeah, you may want to leave it a while.
Rather than flush his sewage out, he'd opened the wrong valve and let raw sewage and seawater in.
Oh, that is not good.
It seeped into the engine room, mixed with chemical batteries, and produced a lethal gas.
I smell noxious gas.
Yeah, I think that gas is just me. Oh, no, hold on. No, that one isn't.
The sub had no choice but to surface 12 miles off Scotland. It was instantly spotted and had to surrender to the British.
It's supposed to be a white flag. Only, well, it's a long story, sorry.
Dodgy Inventions number 84, the Bessemer. Sir Henry Bessemer was a great Victorian inventor who used to get horribly seasick.
I feel dizzy. I think I'm going to be sick. Gangway!
So he decided to invent a special ship that wouldn't make anyone seasick. He called his ship the Bessemer. Built in 1875, it was fitted with a remarkable machine which made the deck stay perfectly level during the voyage, no matter how much the sea went up and down.
That is marvellous. Simply marvellous.
On the Bessemer's maiden crossing from Britain to France, the journey was so smooth that nobody felt sick. It was an immense success, but there was just one small problem. Henry had paid more attention to his anti-sickness engine than to the steering. The ship was almost impossible to turn. It arrived in France with a loud smashing right into the pier at Calais.
I feel dizzy. I think I'm going to be sick again. Bring us moi and buckets, s'il vous plaît.
Your host, a talking rat. The past is no longer a mystery. Welcome to Horrible Histories.